Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to do a really fun video. This is going to be part one of two because the product has several different looks that you can create. So today we're going to do one look and I will do another video on another look at a later time. The product that we're working with today is something that's brand new to me. I've never tried it before. I've seen it actually in a magazine. I've seen it on the internet. I contacted the company to find out more about it. They were super responsive and very informative. I went to their website, joined their Facebook group. So it's out there and it is a really cool product. I'm going to show you. They sent me this whole kit. It is Retique It. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen this. I just recently did a paint review video on their Retique It chalk paint. And today we're going to do their liquid wood. So what is it? It's so weird, the whole concept, right? Well, you get this, you can buy different products, but the best thing to do is get the kit. And in the kit comes all of this. And so what is all of this? Well, you get this here, which is the whole idea behind this is, let me back up a little bit, is so that you do not have to strip or sand to bare wood to get a wood look. So what are we talking about? Taking any surface, painting it, staining it, and clearing it. So you don't have to do all of the work of sanding and stripping. Well, I thought, ooh, that seems kind of weird. I'm so used to either sanding my pieces to bare wood or occasionally stripping them. So this concept to me was like, I have to try this out. So what you get in the kit is you get a light wood and a dark wood of this paint. And in this paint, it's made up of 66% recycled wood fibers. So essentially, it's like you're painting on a wood surface. Then you stain and you get the look of a stained piece. Now, in the kit, you get a light wood, you get a dark wood paint. That's your first step. Then you get your stain. Now in this case, I picked dark walnut and then they sent me a weathered wood. So you can layer them, you can create different looks. So that's going to be part two, is I'm going to layer them and do a different look. Now you can wipe it on like you traditionally would with a stain, or you get these fancy graining tools that can make it look more like real wood grain. So how cool is this? Well, we're going to find out. I have been kind of toying around with it the last few days in my shop, trying to figure out kind of how it works before I go on camera and look like a complete disaster because I don't know what I'm doing with a whole new product to me. So I'm ready to go ahead and show you guys how we start with this. We're going to today not use the graining tools. That's going to be part two. I will use the graining tools to create a different look. And I worked with some different practice pieces, and today what I decided I'm going to work with, just to show you guys, is my normal practice board, because I didn't want a wood product. What I wanted was just my practice board. This is MDF, and I wanted just to kind of show you so that when we do part two and there is no wood grain, how we can simulate our wood grain. So this is going to be an interesting video, you guys, because it's a brand new product, because I've only just been messing around with it and really haven't had, a whole lot of experience. So it's kind of fun to do together. So let's check it out and see how it goes. And I'll go over each step one by one so that you understand the process and know how it works. Okay, so for today what we're going to use is we're going to use the dark wood and the dark walnut. I'm going to use my Klingon brush to go ahead and paint on the dark wood paint. It says to stir really well until smooth, so we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and open this up. And yes, I do realize that my practice board does have paint on it, but you know what? It's totally fine. It is clean and ready to go. They do recommend you clean your surface and prep it just as you normally would with any type of furniture paint or stain that you're going to be applying. So it is actually really smooth. This is the color. Kind of an ugly color, yes, but it doesn't matter because this is our base to give our stain something to stick to. So I'm going to use the dark wood paint because I'm going with a dark walnut. If you're going to go with a lighter stain color, you're going to go ahead, obviously, and use the light wood. For the weathered wood effect, I would use the light wood. So this just goes on really nice and smooth. I'm literally just painting it on. They say to paint it on in long brush strokes. Don't worry about getting it super duper even. The thing is, you're really not going to see a whole lot of this underneath once you put your stain on. You're not going to actually see any of it. So yes, the application is important to make sure it's not sloppy, but it doesn't have to be perfect. What we're trying to do now is cover the piece, get all of that on there, and I'm going to try to cover up that paint that's already on there here. And like I said, nice long smooth strokes. It goes on very easily, and then we're going to go ahead and let this dry. Now, the dry time for this is 2 hours. So I'm going to give it the full 2 hours because you don't want to apply it prior to that completely drying. You don't want to apply your stain because you will pull it up if it's not dry yet. I did that while I was practicing. So the other thing is you can apply a second coat if necessary, if you want to. If you feel like that there was areas that got missed, you can definitely put on a second coat. And you can lightly sand if you notice that after this is dry that it has some bumps in it or maybe something flew into it. Definitely can give it a sand with a fine grit sandpaper. So we're going to go ahead and let this sit up for 2 hours, come back, and then we'll go ahead and apply our dark stain. Okay, so while that's drying, I do want to talk about a few things. So the cool part is they send you so much information. Not only do they have it already on their website, but they send you a detailed flyer, and I will open this up so you guys can see. And I apologize about the light. It is incredibly bright in here today. I have everything opened up, and because it's a gorgeous day here, but it's really bright. But basically, they give you a step-by-step, you guys. How nice is this? They also show you on the back some before and afters. So they tell you exactly what to do. The whole thing that they say is put a fresh coat of wood on it, which I think is really cute because, you know, obviously those of us that refinish furniture know the steps that go into putting stain on a piece of furniture. There's a lot that goes into that. You have to sand it, sometimes you have to strip it, and it can sometimes just be a lot of work. So this concept is such a cool idea because you're basically painting it on, but getting the look of a stained piece. I've seen a lot of the before and afters and they look pretty darn good, so I can't wait to show you what this piece looks like after we're done. But basically, the steps are you paint it, you stain it, and you seal it. I mean, how much more simple can that get? Well, we're going to have to wait and see what the final results look like to see if those simple steps create the look that we want it to create. I am a lover of having a freshly sanded piece of wood and showing that beautiful grain. A lot of the furniture pieces I do, that's kind of my look, is a stained top and the painted body. So for me, this is like a whole new, jumping into a whole new thing because I'm not really sure how it's going to look and turn out, and but I'm definitely open to trying new things. Not because I want to skip steps and make things so much easier. It's just a neat concept, and so I love trying new products that have, you know, a really cool idea about them. And so yeah, so there's that. You get that. They also give you another little booklet of step-by-step instructions. So they're very thorough in explaining how their product works, and I like that. Now, does this paint smell? It does a little bit. I really didn't smell it until I put it up to my nose. So we're not going to walk around with paint under our nose. But keep in mind, if you do paint indoors, it does have a slight odor to it. It's not bad. It's just, it is there. So I like to mention that because I get asked that a lot. You know, I paint inside. Is this going to have, you know, a really bad smell? No, it doesn't have a bad smell, but you can definitely smell the product. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. All right, so it's been about 2 hours. I am completely dry. This was one coat. I did not go back in with a second coat. I went in with a pretty heavy first coat and left it alone. So we're just going to see how that works. I feel like the coverage of it is very well, so I'm going to be good to go there. Now, I've chosen the dark walnut stain. Here's the fun part about the Retique It Wood kit, process, product, whatever you want to say. You don't have to use their stain. So let's say you have a favorite stain. General Finishes Java Gel stain is one of my favorites. I can use that. They give a recommended few stains that you can use, what type of stains you can use, so that is awesome. If they don't have what you want, you can definitely use your own. In this case though, we are going to use the Dark Walnut by Retique It Wood and see what happens. I am applying with a foam brush. Now, you can apply whatever way you want. If you want to just apply it with a rag, go for it. If you feel more comfortable using a foam brush, do that. This part of it is, there's no hard and fast rule for how to do it. The other thing you want to keep in mind is each stain on the can will have instructions how long to let something set. So for instance, when I use the Varathane stain, it tells me to leave it for 2 to 3 minutes to penetrate and then go in and wipe it back. Java Gel, you might want to wipe it back right away. So each stain kind of has their own direction, so you want to go ahead and make sure that you follow those directions. With the Retique It stain, it basically says the same thing. Wait a couple of minutes and then go ahead and wipe it back. The longer you let it sit on here and penetrate, the deeper that is going to take. Now, you also may not like the color after the first coat, so you want to layer and do additional coats. So I'm going to read the can here and tell you what it says. It is, let's see, directions. Before application, use the lint-free cloth to make sure that the area stained is free of dust. I did that, it was fine. Shake or stir, did that. And then apply 1 coat of stain liberally with a brush or a clean lint-free rag. Allow the stain to penetrate 1 to 5 minutes. Then remove the excess by wiping off with a rag in the direction of the grain. In this case, we don't have grain because it's MDF, but we'll still wipe one direction. And then it says to remove all excess stain. It is essential to ensure proper dry time and proper adhesion of top coat. Allow the stain to dry for at least 2 hours or longer if you can still smell the stain, and or if the stain is still tacky to the surface. So there you go. I'm going to wipe this off in just a few moments. As I'm talking to you, the time is passing by. I'll go ahead and wipe it off, and then we'll see what that first coat looks like. My assumption is I'm going to probably want to use 2, maybe 3 coats. So I'm going to go ahead and wait that 2 hours in between and then recoat. And again, I like how they give you the instructions that, you can touch it to make sure it's, not tacky, and what have you. So that's kind of nice. I will say the one thing about the company that I do like so far, especially because it's a brand new product to me, is that they're very thorough with their instructions, and I like that. So I'm going to grab some gloves here so I don't get stain all over my hands. And then we're going to go ahead and wipe it back. I'm going to just I use these a lot. I use these blue shop towels to wipe back stain. I find that they wipe back the stain really, really well. They don't over absorb the stain when I'm wiping it back. There's no lint that gets put into there, so I really like using these, but you can use what they provide for you, or you can use your own shop towels. And okay, so that is cool. It's definitely not the color I want, I can tell you that. I let this sit, I'd say about 2 minutes, so that's going to be a preference. How long you let it sit, how long you let it penetrate is going to dictate the color that you end up with. I'm kind of wiping back in sweeping motions because I want a nice even look. Because we're not using a wood grain tool right now, I want the nicest, cleanest look that I can achieve. But this is really cool. So this just goes to show you, we didn't sand this, this is not real wood, as you know. And we are staining it, so that is really cool. These are all the practice boards that I use in my paint videos. So I'm going to get in there in the groove, and as soon as I do that, then I'm going to show you, and actually I kind of like how it's darker in that groove, so I might leave a little bit darker in there, just trying to get off all of the excess. But I'm going to show you up close what we ended up with here. So this is 1 coat of dark walnut stain. Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm going to come back in 2 hours. We're going to apply our 2nd coat of stain and see how that changes. Right now, this is not a color that I'm in love with. You can still see the color of the paint underneath, that kind of orangey color. So I'm going to layer up and we're going to see how this changes. So we're going to give this another 2 hours and we'll come back. Okay, so we are back. It has been 2 hours. This is dry, so I'm ready for my next coat of stain. So we're going to go ahead. I just wrapped up my brush in some saran wrap so that I didn't have to get a new foam brush. And I'm going to repeat the process. I'm hoping that with the 2nd coat, I'll achieve the look that I want, the color. So all I'm doing is reapplying 2nd coat. I'm going to go ahead and let this sit again. I think this time I'm going to let it sit a little bit longer, so I'll shut the camera off and come back. I'm going to actually let it sit for the full 5 minutes just to see if we get some more color and depth out of it, letting it sit longer. So that is it. We've got our 2nd coat applied. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so we are back and it has been 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this back. I'm hoping for more depth out of this 2nd coat. Again, all I'm doing, and yes, it does look like it's getting a lot darker. All I'm doing is going back and forth so that I get a nice, it's really easy to do with this practice board. To get a nice even sweep because I want it to mimic obviously as much as a natural stained look on wood on this MDF board. So I'm just going to go back and forth. I am again trying to get in the grooves here to get the majority of that stain out. I actually do like though how it's a little bit darker in that groove, just kind of fun. So probably won't work it as hard to try to get it out of there because I like that slightly deeper look in there. So yeah, I would say that the color is starting to deepen up and look more like a dark walnut and less like that painted color underneath. So I think I'm going to do a 3rd coat just to see if that changes anything. When I did talk to one of the representatives at the company, they did say that sometimes you do have to do several coats to achieve the look that you want. So that is with any stain. I'll tell you that even the darkest of dark stains that I use, some woods, depending on what you're putting it on, it will be 2 coats. Some I've done 3. I have very rarely done 4 coats of stain, but I think what we're going to do is let this sit and then come back and do a 3rd coat just to see what color variation we get. I need to wipe that off a little bit better up here, but this is the 2nd coat of the dark walnut, and I actually am really enjoying that color, so pretty cool. We'll come back in 2 hours. Alright you guys, that is it. We are at the end of the video and I want to go over a couple of things and then I will show you my practice board, my final. So a few things. If you're going to try this product, my recommendation would be to get the kit. Now you can buy the products sold separately and that is a really nice feature. I like that they don't just have a kit available if all you want is maybe the paint and a stain. So that's a really nice feature. The kits run about $49.98. They do come in different sizes, so the kit will vary in pricing, but the way that it works is, like, let's say you want the weathered wood stain look or maybe the dark walnut. So then you order the kit and it comes with all the things that I showed you in the beginning segment of my video. Now, if you just want to purchase, you know, a larger size of the painted wood and then the stain, you can also do that. So I do like that feature. The paint does have a slight odor to it, so I would just be aware of that if you're going to be painting indoors. Do the sniff test first. A lot of people are very sensitive to smells, and so that may not be something that you want to work in a non-ventilated area with. It didn't bother me. I did not wear a mask or anything. It literally, unless I put it up under my nose, I really couldn't, you know, smell this odor. But I do like to mention that because I do get asked that question a lot with products is, does it have a really strong smell? And the answer is no, I wouldn't say that it has a strong smell. However, when you're working with stain, Moving on to the next step, yeah, all stains have, you know, that stain smell. So just keep that in mind. The paint works really cool. It was really easy to apply. I only applied one very thick coat. You can do more than that. Now in this case, for this video, I'm using a dark walnut stain and I really wanted to get the deep dark depth out of that color, so I used the dark wood paint. Now they do recommend that you use the light wood paint. Works for most all stains except for like their dark cherry stain. So you can just buy one. You don't have to buy both dark wood and light wood paint. They do offer it, but my suggestion is if you like the lighter stains, go with the light wood paint because it'll work just fine. I think it would have worked just fine for this as well. But yeah, so it went on really easily. Washed my brush out, let it sit for 2 hours, came back and we applied the first layer of stain. We have on 3 coats and I'm satisfied with the color. I do like how it does look like stain. It's pretty easy. Okay guys, so here is the board. I'm telling you, it looks like stained wood. It's got a beautiful sheen to it. However, this is not sealed yet, and I do want to mention you have to seal this. As with any stain project you do, you've got to seal it. I have not sealed it for one reason: it's not ready yet. I just literally got to the 2 hours and it's dry. But for the other reason is I'm going to play around a little bit more by layering this up with some of their other stain colors, and then I also want to try their graining tool. So I'm not yet going to seal it, but I will have to. Now the cool thing is, just like being able to switch out and use a different brand stain, you can use a different brand poly. If you have a favorite and you just don't want to veer from that, then you don't have to. That's the cool thing about this product, is that you can mix and match, and I like that. So they did provide me with a clear. I am going to use it, so I'll let you know what I think of it, but this is it. This is the dark walnut. It's a really nice color. It really is. I mean, in person too, it looks so good. I'm going to go ahead at the end of the video also and do a still photo so you guys can see exactly what it looks like up close. Sometimes if I try to put up close right now, it doesn't focus. So I'm just going to take a nice picture of it so you guys can see what the end result looks like. Really easy to work with. Very great instructions. For someone who's never worked with a product before, that's what we need. We need step-by-step instructions. Not only does the website provide that, but when they shipped my kit, they shipped me 2 different brochures that gave me instructions. So I like that. The price point is not bad at all. I do not think that it's at all, you know, expensive for what you get. So the stain cans, they do come in different sizes. So you have the small one, and then you do have this larger size here. Same with the paint. So there's a lot of options available, and I like that too. So stay tuned for part 2, because I am going to continue. We're going to figure out the graining tool. I've never used one of those because I have always sanded down to bare wood. No need. So I'm kind of interested to find out how that works, how easy that is to work with, and what it makes it look like at that point. But I don't mind this. This is their classic look. So when you order the kit, you don't have to have the graining tool. If you like this look, go with it. Thank you so much today for watching. Thank you for being subscribers. Keep subscribing so you can get all of my videos. If you have any questions or positive comments, definitely leave them down below, as I will get back to you. I'm not quite the expert on this product just yet, but I will get you the answer if I can. Thanks, you guys. Have a good one.